technicalities. So I can give an intro of what blockchain actually is because some of you guys might not be aware of this like entire thing. I am not a techie to be honest. I'm from the community and the BD side. So let me give you a quick intro about me. So this is Gwen, or you can say Khushbu. I have been in crypto space from last 5 years and have been worked with like couple of big names like Near Protocol, Polkadot, Avalanche, and now I'm with like Nibiru chain. So I have a good experience around community management and have a handful experience around business development. So yeah, that's what I'm handling out here in Nibiru. So just talking about in a very layman language, is anyone aware about what Web3 is or what like actually Web3, how the infrastructure works or how is it in general? So you can just like maybe say a yes in the chat. It would be like easier for me to keep a track of that how many people are actually aware of Web3 and blockchain technology. Otherwise, I'll be giving a quick brief about how the things are actually working on the surface. So it's just Mohit, I believe. Rest of the 39 people are not aware of what Web3 is. So that's actually a really good thing, to be honest, because that would actually give me a leverage so that I can explain better. And maybe it would be a good thing for me if you get understanding from the like crust of it. So let's start. So when talking about Web3, so let's actually talk about Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3 for your easy understanding. So Web 1 was basically read only. So what you used to do, you used to just read the data, but you could not interact with the data. You could not put your feedbacks or you could not actually share your insights. So that was just only read only stuff. And that's where the Web 1 actually was just like started and ended off with. Web 2, when talking about, you actually could interact with the technology. So a biggest and the easiest example nowadays is Facebook, Instagram. So these are a couple of like applications where you can actually interact with the technology itself. So for an instance, if suppose Kushal is a very hardcore YouTuber, for an instance, so Kushal actually uploaded a YouTube video and I really liked it. So I commented on the YouTube video, "Hey Kushal, you rock." So, but there were some of the technicalities which Facebook was like, okay, you cannot post this or you cannot post this content in the video or you cannot post this comment, for an instance. So what Facebook will do, Facebook will delete his video or delete my comment, and Facebook has full rights over it. So now as a consumer, I am having no authority of my data. I have no authority of keeping my data with me. And that's the biggest drawback of Web 2. And that's the biggest thing why Web 3 was required. So now when talking about Web 3, it's all about decentralization. Now, if I am actually now suppose for an instance, if there is a Web3 social file platform and Kushal is now uploading a YouTube video, he has the complete rights of that entire video, also the complete rights of his own platform. Nobody, even the platform, can actually access of what he has owned or what he is owning. And that's where the power of Web3 comes. And same is with me as a person who was contributing into the YouTube video as a comment person. So that's where the power of Web3 comes, where you can actually interact. Also, you have the ownership of the data. So that's the power of Web3. Now, when talking about the Web3 thing, that's the, I should say, the surface side area. But how is it possible is via the technology that is beneath it. And that's called the blockchain technology. So now, in very easy and layman terms, if I'll break blockchain, what is exactly it? It's a chain of blocks. That's it. It's so damn simple. So it's a chain of blocks. There are multiple blocks which are actually combined in a chain and they're interlinked with each other. But the best part, what comes here is a block is basically having a particular form of data. It can be anything, any of the interaction, any of the things that are happening into the blockchain, that's actually stored into a block. Now, when I'm talking about block A, block B, block C, every time you are interacting into the blockchain, every time a block is being created. So now you have multiple blocks. But now the best part comes here is block A is somewhat interlinked with block B. How? Some part of the data is actually in block B. And now block B, some part, or maybe if you have heard about blockchain, you must have heard that it's secure. That's the reason it's secure. Because to manipulate one block, you need to manipulate the entire chain. So that's the power of blockchain, and that's where the security, interoperability, and all the terms come forward too, because it has that chain of data that has actually made the entire data security onto the platform. And that's where the power of Web3 actually comes from. So in general, if I'll talk to you about blockchain, if I'll talk to you about Web3, that's a very different thing. And crypto, if we are talking about, like, many of you might be hearing in the news as well, like crypto is very, like, it's not safe, it's illegal, it's whatever. But crypto is very different. It's like a stock market. But when talking about the technologies, it's way more different, because that's where you guys actually play a very major role as developers, that you are building on top of that technology and creating amazing applications for us. So that's actually the core crust of Web3 and blockchain. If you have any questions, please feel free to, like, raise your hand or unmute yourself. Would be more than happy to answer. Or please, like, use the comment box. It's like easy. Sure.
Yeah, sure. Hi everyone.
Hey, Batok.
Sorry, Kushbu and Kushal bhai, I was a bit late.
No worries at all.
Okay.
So Batuk will be taking you from the developer side of perspective as well, because he's a developer, and I'll be like more than happy to help you on the side where development is not required. So I'll be like helping you on that aspect. So please go ahead, Batuk. We are looking forward to
Yeah.
it.
Just a second.
Batuk will be going through what, and Khushbu will explain why we are doing that.
Right.
Batuk, could you please give me a minute?
Yeah, sure.
I would like to, like, answer what Mohit asked. So Mohit is saying in the comments there has been some opinions that Web3 doesn't really have good use cases currently, and right now it has been like used unnecessarily. Is it really true? So Mohit, to be honest, I'll tell you, when a new technology comes in, people are not accepting it the way it should be. So if you are aware of Kushal and Batuk and others might be aware of Hyperledger, Hyperledger Fabric. That's one of the technology that has been used in India as well. So that also has a couple of things that blockchain technology actually is doing, and it's the same replica of it. So I cannot say you that there is no use case, and there are so many things that the banks have also adopted. Many of you might have heard about JP Morgan. It's one of the biggest banks out there. JP Morgan has its own blockchain, you know that. It's quite strange. There's another very big, like, name. I just missed the name. It's a institutional based company. They are actually using blockchain for handling the insurance side of sector. So I personally feel that you should actually give the space to the big. Batu, can you please mute yourself? Thank you.
Yeah.
So I personally feel that you should actually give space to the technology. And when talking about Web3, the best part is, I'll just give you a brief, guys. That's a very funny story. I was a teacher earlier, and I had no clue about Web3. When I entered in, I actually understood there's so much to learn. So when talking about Web3 on the like surface side of area, it's very easy to like see that, okay, these are some of the loopholes that's not working for a couple of folks. But when you dive deep in, there are so many things going around. NFTs have been flourishing. People are actually using NFT for like ticketing. So now when you go to the concert, you just have to like mint an NFT and you have to just show them as a ticket. So that's the power of like NFT ecosystem. Tokenization has been doing wonders in RWA. So now what's the scenario is, if you are aware of RWA, real world assets. So now अब क्या बात हो रही है कि buildings and जितने भी infrastructure हैं उनको blockchain के पे लेकर आ रहे हैं and उनको as a stock market की तरह blockchain पे use करेंगे. So the basic end goal is the security, and blockchain has the capacity to store that data. Because see, at the end of the day, it's all about the data. You guys know about it. You are developers. You have that like skill sets to go around things. So you know how powerful data is. So end goal is data. And if you personally have the authority to own your data, then what can be the best part? So I really would recommend you guys that go through what Web3 has been doing in Web2 ecosystem as well. Because one of the example was JP Morgan, which is one of the biggest banks. If they are adopting the technology, you get the answer that it has that potential to actually solve the real world use cases. Yeah, thank you so much, Bato. Please go ahead. I hope Mohit that solved your question, the query, and please feel free to like share anything in the comments, and would be happy to answer.
Thanks a lot, Kushbu. It was truly a great session. And now let's proceed with the working of blockchain. So, Kushbu, have you told them like the working of blockchain, or
Yeah, I have given them a glimpse of what's blockchain, what's
okay,
Web3, and how is it actually helping the core technology.
amazing, amazing. Okay, so let's go with the how the blockchain actually works, right? So let me just open it. Great, amazing. So can anybody tell me what is the actual working? Like we all know what blockchain is, what Web3 is, but can anybody tell me like how all these transactions happens on blockchain and why it is like so secured, and why there is like a hell lot of hype around blockchain? Can anybody tell me? Yeah, amazing. Then there is no middleman. So does anyone here know how actually blockchain works in just a few words? Can anybody tell me? The data is immutable, great, transparent, peer to peer. Actually, these are the characteristics of a blockchain. But from the developer perspective, yeah, Swapnil, uh, go ahead.
Hi everyone. Am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah. So here, blockchain. Actually, I was a developer, so there is a concept called hashing. So the
Yeah,
hashing concept is used in blockchain. Usually, what happens that it is made up of in in imagination we can say that blockchain is a like a long chain type of thing, and chain has links. So in blockchain what happens that every successive link contains the address of the preceding link. So as ma'am said that if someone tries to interfere with the blockchain and try to hack it, then he or she has to like try to control everything in that chain, which is not possible. So in easy terms, like I can brief about it. So yeah, that's it.
amazing. So now let me explain you how actually blockchain works. So let me share a diagram with you. Yeah. So here's the diagram of the working of blockchain. So basically, for example, let's consider that Swapnil has to send one Bitcoin to Naveen. Okay. And ऊपर से प्रोसेस ऐसा लगेगा पूरा कि लाइक इट्स वेरी एक्सट्रीमली लाइक इजी लाइक यू हैव ट्रांसफर्ड वन बिटकॉइन फ्रॉम the Swapnil has transferred one Bitcoin from his wallet to Naveen's wallet address. But the actual process which runs in the back end is this, which you can see in the diagram. So first of all, Swapnil will initiate this transaction. And before that, let's clear like wallet thing, right? So first of all, a private key is randomly generated, and from that private key, like private key is a random string. If anybody from this audience have made a MetaMask or some other wallet, then you might be knowing like how actually the private key looks like. Okay, so the private key is generated first, a random number. Then after that, public key is generated from that private key by using ECC, elliptic cryptographic curve. This is basically an algorithm which is used to actually convert and hash the private key into public key, right? And after that, this public key is converted into a wallet address, which is converted using hash algorithm. We can use either SHA-256 or we can either use KICAC-256. These both are the hashing algorithms which are used to convert the uh, public key to the wallet address. Okay, so basically, let me show you like how it actually looks like. Actually, yeah. Yeah. So see, as you can see here, there is the why is it no, okay, no problem. As you can see, the private key, which is 699E. So basically, this is the private key. Then after doing the after using SECP 256K1, this is the conversion algorithm, which is ecliptic cryptographic curve. We use this to convert the private key into public key. Now this public key is converted of 250. It consists of it is of 256 bytes. Now after that, we use KICAC 256 algorithm, which converts the public key into the wallet address. Now if you share your public key with someone, it is very big, and it becomes difficult. It is not readable as well, and also it consists a lot of characters, and it is big as well. So to make it short and to keep it crisp, we convert the public key into the wallet address using KICAC 256 algorithm. So if you will go to the MetaMask wallet, you won't be able to see the public key. You will just see the wallet address and you will see the private key. Okay, and private key is hidden. You will have to enter your password, and after that you will be able to see the private key. But public key is readily available. You can just go to your MetaMask account and you can see wallet address there, and you can just copy it and send it to your friend. Now coming back to our example, when Swapnil has to send the 1 Bitcoin to the Anupam, then Swapnil will provide his public key or wallet address to the Anupam. No. Basically, so Swapnil is sending to Anupam, right? So Anupam will provide his wallet address to Swapnil, and Swapnil will
Lakshman,
transfer.
we are not able to see your screen.
Just a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Swapnil will now transfer the 1 Bitcoin to the Anupam's wallet address, and Anupam will receive the transaction. Now, coming to the next part, how the transaction actually happens onto the blockchain. So first of all, the Swapnil will initiate the transaction, and by the time the Swapnil is initiating this transaction, many other transactions are also happening on this blockchain. Now all these transactions accumulate into one common pool, to which we call memory pool or mempool as well. So now all these transactions, consider memory pool as a box. Now all these transactions are falling from the sky and like are getting stored into the memory pool. Now all these transactions are already validated and verified by the nodes that now the validators will like make sure that whether Swapnil actually contains one Bitcoin into his account or not, or is he just bluffing, or is he just like doing any fraud transactions. To make sure that Swapnil actually has one Bitcoin in his wallet. Now all these validated transactions will fall into the memory pool. Now many different miners around the world will come and pick up these transactions randomly. Just a second. Yeah, Sayed.
Hello. I was asking, I have heard of a case like
Hmm.
there were few guys who were like operating in Binance. Binance is
Okay.
like a Bitcoin trading software. No? So they were like doing something scam there, like they were buying some dollars
Uh-huh.
in exchange of Bitcoin, and they were not showing the Bitcoin to the company and something like that, and scamming other people, taking the Bitcoin and the dollar also. So how to overcome that problem? Like,
Actually, that problem was not on the Bitcoin chain. Actually, they played it with the loopholes, and I forgot the name of that scam. Actually, mhm. Actually, somebody also did the same thing with the NFTs as well. Uh,
So
okay. Yeah, so basically we were on the stage. So now all these transactions from around the world, which are happening at the same time, just come and fall into one common block, which is memory pool. Now after this, different miners from around the globe come and pick up random transactions. Two miners, three miners, n number of miners can pick same transactions as well, because these transactions are not now added to the blockchain. These are just stored in the memory pool, right? Now different miners will come, they will pick up these transactions and they will make a block for themselves. Like for example, Anupam is there, he will make his own block by like. Now also one more thing is there, whenever you write a smart contract and whenever you deploy it there, or either whenever you do a transaction on the blockchain. For example, if Anupam is transferring one Bitcoin to Kushal, then the amount which will be deducted from Anupam's account will not be just one Bitcoin. It will also consist of some 0.0001 Bitcoin, which will be considered as the gas fees, because there is no centralized authority and nobody is selling your data to actually earn money, or neither they are running some ads from where they can actually generate some money out of there. So basically, if nodes are working, they are putting up their computational power, they are putting up the electricity, they are putting up their data, then they obviously need some of the incentives to get, right? So these incentives are distributed, or they receive these incentives using gas fees. So whenever Anupam will transfer Bitcoins to Kushal wallet, if he wants to transfer one Bitcoin, then 1.00001 Bitcoin will be deducted from Anupam's account, and Kushal will only receive one Bitcoin, and the rest of 0.0001 Bitcoin, which has been deducted from Anupam's account, will be considered as the gas fees. And the person whoever creates that block, and this particular transaction is so basically whosoever consists that transaction into the block, and the person and the miners whose block gets finalized, he will receive all the cumulative gas fees which is present in the transaction, which is present in this block. Okay, so I'll make it clear a bit as well. So basically, after these transactions are stored into the memory pool, now these transactions will get stored in the memory pool, and after that the random miners will come and pick up these transactions, and they will create their own block. Now after that they will get the problem, complexity problem. The miner whose computational power is sufficient enough to solve that problem will receive the chance to upload that block onto the blockchain, and eventually the block which has been uploaded on the blockchain and all the transactions which are present in that block will get finalized, and rest of the transactions which were not present in the block but those were added by the different miners into their blocks will get discarded. It is as simple as that. So I hope this working of blockchain is clear to everyone. If you have any doubt, we can have the conversation regarding that. Okay, so now let's jump on to the Nibiru blockchain. Okay, so as you can see in the slide, Nibiru is the L1 solution, a novel layer 1 blockchain and smart contract ecosystem. So now blockchain has different layers in it. And what are these layers? Basically, there are four layers as of now in blockchain. Number one is layer 0 blockchain, which you can see as Polkadot, Cosmos, or Ethereum. Then comes the layer 1. So basically these are the layer 0 is the base blockchains on which different blockchain solutions are built. So after that, after layer 0 comes the layer 1. Layer 1 is the Nibiru blockchain, and Nibiru is built upon Cosmos, right? You can consider it as a layers, as different layers on which, see, these are not the layers which you are considering like you can consider them like as data link like we have in TCP, or you might have studied these in your curriculum. So basically you can consider it like those such layers. So there is layer 0, which is the base layer, which and the examples of layer 0 blockchains are Polkadot, Ethereum, and Cosmos. Then coming to the layer 1, which is Nibiru, and Ethereum also has layer 1 solution, then Solana and different blockchains. Then coming to the layer 2, layer 2 provides the scalability functionalities, and layer 3 provides the application functionalities. So basically all the DApps are come under the category, decentralized applications comes under the category of layer 3 blockchains. And the layer 2 are like you can consider it as Avalanche, and Polygon is somewhat layer 2 solution which provides us the scalability. Polygon is also a sidechain. So yeah, that's it. So Nibiru provides us with the layer 1 solution, and it provides us with the security, right? But how does it provide different things, like which is different from the other L1 solutions, right? So this question must be uh, in your mind, right? So basically it provides these functionalities which make it differentiable from the other L1 solutions. Number one is Byzantine fault tolerance, BFT. This is a consensus algorithm which is used by the Nibiru blockchain, which make it highly secured, and it uses Tendermint, which we'll be discussing in the coming slides. So basically, it uses Tendermint, which makes it like next to impossible to actually hack it. Then it also consists, the mostly blockchains just consist of single consensus algorithm, but Nibiru consists of two consensus algorithm. One is BFT and second one is proof of stake. So for example, if you are a miner and if you allowed any fraud transactions to happen and if you validated it, then what will happen is you have staked your proof of stake means you have staked your particular amount of cryptocurrency. If you are working on Nibiru, then you have staked Nibiru cryptocurrency. If you are working on Ethereum, then you have staked Ethereum cryptocurrency, right? And Ethereum has also recently shifted to POS. So if you are working on Nibiru, if you are a miner and if you are mining Nibiru, then what will happen is you will get to submit some amount of cryptocurrency, some amount of Nibiru tokens onto this platform. And if you do something which is unethical, or if you validate a transaction which is fraud, then what will happen is you will lose all those transactions which you have staked on the Nibiru platform. So basically, this will prevent a lot of miners to actually do that transaction, and nobody would like to do these things if they are actually losing those if they are actually losing those tokens out there, right? Then coming to the third point, which is instant finality. Instant finality means like Bitcoin takes 10 minutes to actually finalize your token. Ethereum takes 15 seconds to actually finalize your transaction. And this is a hell lot of time, because if you are like assume that if you are standing in a coffee shop and if it is taking like 10 minutes to actually execute your transaction, then is it feasible to actually do that? So basically, using Tendermint, it actually provides us with the instant finality. Now, fourth point is high throughput and low latency. Throughput means basically it provides us with the speed, and low latency basically the meaning of this point is it provides us with the speed. Then it also has modular design, and also it provides us with the Cosmos SDK integration, right? And security and consistency is the other another great point and another great feature of Nibiru blockchain. So now coming to the like working of how actually Nibiru blockchain works. So basically it uses Tendermint. So as soon as the transactions get stored into the memory pool, these miners come into the memory pool, they pick random transactions, they create their own block and they propose it onto the blockchain network. Now after they have proposed it on the blockchain network, this blockchain, this network is first done by pre-committing, and after that the second process which is done is post-committing. So before actually proposing that block to the network, all the nodes, all the validators in the network which are present in that particular Nibiru network, they will be first they will be first required to vote onto that block, that whether this block should be passed, whether all the transactions which are present into this particular block are valid or not. So if two-third of the majority of the blockchain of the validators vote that yeah, this block can be proposed, then that block moves ahead and is proposed onto the blockchain. Then once this is done, then another set of voting happens which is called post committed. Now after this, again once the block has been proposed, then another all the blockchain validators will have to vote that this blockchain should be added onto the blockchain, or this should be added onto the blockchain or not. Then once this voting has been done, and if two-third of the validators allow that and validate that yeah, we can propose this block onto the blockchain and we can add it to the blockchain, then the blockchain, then that particular block gets committed and the block reaches the finality. So basically this is the overall working of blockchain, working of Nibiru blockchain and the architecture. Now the languages which Nibiru actually supports are Python, Rust, Solidity, and also it is compatible with EVM. So in the workshop, we will be learning how to actually build decentralized applications using EVM and using Solidity. So yeah, that's it from my side. I hope it's clear. Let's discuss doubts.
So yeah, a couple of things to cover from my side, guys, is that we are actually currently live on EVM testnet, and we will be going EVM live in Q4. So that's where you can put your hands on Solidity and you can explore onto the blockchain. And that's where, like, if you are wanting to like explore and build your own DApp on top of Nibiru, we'll be like more than happy to like hear your suggestion and would be like great to like have you on boarded and like see what you bring on the table because it's all about innovation and we actually really appreciate it. Also, talking about a couple of things on the development side, we are actually very bullish on a couple of things which include DeFi, dApps, lending protocols. So if someone around you is aware of what are they, or if you have that idea of options, walls, and synthetics, so we will be like more than happy to hear your thoughts. Please feel free to like ping me anytime. I'll just share my TG in the chats itself. Also, talking about a couple of things, we lately had a hackathon which had a prize pool of 160K USD. So I would really recommend you to follow our Twitter because we keep on doing developer related stuff. And I really feel that you would not be wanting to miss it because there were tons of people, those who were from India, and they actually participated into the hackathon and won it. So a couple of exciting things happening on the development side. Also, we are running our 0 to 1 Nibiru accelerator program where you will be having a full guidance of creating your own app, starting off with it, getting assistance from mentors, getting assistance how you can actually be a developer to a founder. So that entire journey is something that we'll be like solely responsible for, and we'll be helping you push across and sharing your idea and making it a bigger like project in the coming weeks. If you like would like to participate, you can just read about it more. I'll again share the links in the comments itself. Last but not the least, that we already are running an ambassador program and a blossom campaign. So if anyone like is wanting to or is bullish on ambassador stuff or is wanting to push things around on that side, please feel free to go and register yourself, be a part of it. We are very active on Discord, TG, and Twitter. So it would be like more than happy to like see you guys like chatting around there, and it would be really amazing on that ground. And as Batuk has said, that there are a couple of things that are on the technical ground. So if you have any questions, please feel free. We already have explained quite from our end, but would be really appreciating to hear it from you as well, that what actually you grasped.
And like one sort of thing that I want to add here is that like everyone here must be thinking, right? There's already Web 2, right? We are a Web 2 developer. Why to jump into Web 3, right? Why to actually build in Web 3? What's the benefit? Why to be a blockchain developer? So I would like to highlight a couple of things. So Web 3 started as a movement, right? Web 3 is all about decentralization. So decentralization at its very core is to move the power from a single entity to the public, right? So as Khushbu at the very start of the session gave an example, right? If Facebook wants to delete your content or anything, right, then they have the complete right to do it. So I'll give you one example. So YouTube, uh, you guys must be aware of YouTube and many creators on YouTube, right? So YouTube primarily earns from these creators, right? Suppose if there is no creator on YouTube, they'll earn nothing, like purely nothing. But what I'll explain you how the monetary side of YouTube works. So YouTube pays about 10 to 15% to the creators, and remaining 5 to 10% to the team, and the remaining 80 to 75 to 80% goes as profit. So this is the major problem with centralized structures, right? With corporate structures, that they are only there for profit. So suppose like you are the one who are actually putting in value. You are the one who are driving people. If suppose Bhuvan Bam, right? He is a very big YouTube creator, and he's the one who drove many people into YouTube. Like I started watching YouTube because of his content back in 2016 2015, and these creators are getting paid just a fraction of what YouTube earns. And even though they are the ones why YouTube is being used. So that is the very core problem with any centralized structure. So why blockchain is that blockchain distributes this power into the people, into the public. And that is why this is a movement. This is being adopted by everyone. Why we should use blockchain? Because we want to shift that power from a single entity, from a single corporate network to the public, right? We want public to get the most out of everything. So that is the one reason why everyone is moving from centralized structures from Web 2 to Web 3. Because the very good example of decentralization is the internet itself, right? No one owns the internet. There are internet service providers like Airtel and everyone, but no one owns the very core of the internet, right? And as no one owns the internet, you are anytime free to build anything on top of internet. But for example, Apple Store, right? The Apple App Store is owned by Apple. So if you're a founder who wants to build something, you go to Apple, you build the app completely on your own, but Apple will charge 35 to 40% of every transaction of all the profits that you earn. But why? Because Apple is a centralized structure. Apple wants profits, right? Apple works for profit, and even profits in a very mean way, right? They are taking the majority chunk of things. But why everyone uses internet at the very core level? Because it's free to build anything on top of internet. That's why we have seen so much on internet. That's why Steve Jobs was able to build Apple. That's why uh, um Zuckerberg was able to build Facebook, because internet doesn't cost you anything. Internet is free for everyone to build, and that is what we want. But now what has happened is these corporate structures, the corporate networks, they've completely owned the layer on top of the internet. If you want to build anything on top of uh, uh, Apple, they'll charge you something. If you want, if you are building your own profile, if you're a content creator or YouTube, you'll, for every profit you earn, you will have to pay something to YouTube. But internet at the very base level is not like that. So that is what Web3 is all about. We are creating a free web, a decentralized web, just like how internet was supposed to be, but the companies, they completely took it over as of now. So that is something I would suggest you to have in mind while being a blockchain developer, that we are here to build a better future. We are here to distribute the power into the public, so that we don't own, like, no corporate structure owns us, no government owns us, no bank owns us. The public, who is actually the one creating, putting out value, be the main owners. So just something to end the session with. And this was just the introduction about blockchain, about how Nibiru works. But in the workshops, we'll be diving deep into how you can actually build on top of Nibiru, how you can actually be a blockchain developer, and why Nibiru is a very good solution. It's a L1. It is as secure as Ethereum, as secure as Bitcoin, but at the same time, it's much faster than these blockchains. Yeah. So thank you everyone for joining.
Yeah, that was actually like really helpful. Others, like others said, that there are some critical things that are actually, when you dive deep into, are really affecting things. So I think there are no questions but from anybody's side, and couple of links which I have like put into the chat, where you can connect with Nibiru, connect with me in general, and you can like talk to me if you have any ideas or any thoughts, accelerator program, and couple of things more. Also on TG, we have a developer-centric community. Feel free to join that. Also Central DAO community as well. So that's something from our side. Also looking forward to be at your colleges. Looking forward to meet you guys in person. And please feel free to, until then, explore about Nibiru a bit so that you can put your hands into the workshop then.
Thank you everyone. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Looking
Thank
forward
you.
to catch up with every each one of you. Thank
Awesome. I hope it was like fruitful. So, yep, that's great. So yeah, I will take your leave, guys. Kushal would really appreciate you to see my text on TG, and yep, that's it from my side. Take care, guys.